And now for something completely different.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather around the radio. It's time for the show. Guys, it's Brendan from Market Makers. Happy Sunday, everybody. How did you like that intro of John Cleese? If you're not familiar with Monty Python, it was funny in the 70s and 80s, and it's still hilarious today. They couldn't make that show today. Absolutely love John Cleese, one of my comic idols. Guys, let's talk about the big news. This is your one-stop shop, the kickoff show for the news, economics, trades, and trade setups in the crypto space, in the equity space, in the commodity space. The big piece of news is Dark Brandon is signing a bill to add another 80,000 IRS agents. These are your friends. Don't worry. They're from the government and they are here to help you. These people are coming in to extract as much liquidity as possible from the American people. Don't believe the BS propaganda coming from the government. They're going to scrutinize the wealthy. Elon Musk picked up on this. Michael Burry picked up on this. They both tweeted about this, saying there's only 1,000 billionaires in the whole country. Elon gets audited every single year. Does anybody really think they're targeting Elon and Jeff Bezos with 80,000 more agents? Guys, to put this into perspective, we now have more IRS agents than the entire Israeli country has an active duty military. That's right, our IRS agent force will be larger than the active duty military in Israel. This is absolutely insane. It's so ridiculous. Most of the small businesses that have been started the last couple of years are mom and pop at-home businesses. That's why they're coming in, guys. They're coming in because the government needs your money to spend on their pet projects like proxy wars, where we spent over $50 billion overseas for somebody else's war, which affects Europe way more than us, yet none of the European countries really feel that threatened that they're going to put any money into it at all. We spent more money on that war so far, by the way, than the antagonist, Russia, spends on their entire military budget. So guess what? You can pay more taxes and you can send it all overseas, not fix your roads, not fix your medical care, not do any of that. Nothing that actually benefits you. This is all about protecting donors, the military-industrial complex, and the political elite. That's all that this ever is. That's why you watch this show, so you can have a pathway to financial freedom. This is what we all want. Guys, the other big piece of news, we hired an investigative reporter. And actually, I was able to get him into the most recent graduating class here of the IRS agents. Take a look at this photo. I don't know what, this speaks louder than words, but you can see this doesn't look like a very friendly environment. Okay, these don't look like nice people. So be very well aware of this. Lee risked his life. I didn't mean to disclose his name, but I hope he's okay. I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll be fine. We'll make sure he's safe. Guys, the other big piece of news on inflation is obviously the 8.5 print. 8.5 print. Now, last time we had an 8.5 print, the market tanked. This time, the market face ripper rally. I do believe these markets are all going to turn back around. It's high about time when you pump to peak resistance. This is a turning point in the marketplace coming up. Bitcoin lagging these other markets. We want to see if Bitcoin can get up to its 200 to 33. We're going to do that vis-a-vis TA. Guys, I have a big announcement for you. Our Telegram in the video description for our trade signals, 4 other professional traders in our room. You can use our Telegram. If you send us a screenshot of you depositing on BitGet, $300 minimum, or on SimpleFX, you get our Telegram service for half off, 50% off, $15 a month for trades, guys. That's what the Telegram is. It's trades only, and we work this out with our sponsors. BitGet's going to sweeten the deal. If you deposit $300, they're going to give you an extra $100. If you deposit $600, they'll give you an extra $200. You can message Lee there in the Telegram for all the details, guys. We want to get you guys in here. We want to get you guys trading, and the people, the hundreds of people that are there now, that means going into September, you're going to have a $15 rate if you're using BitGet or SimpleFX. Send those screenshots to Lee. Half off, guys. I want to do this for you guys. I want you guys to get in there. All right, let's talk about what's happening here in the marketplace, guys. Bitcoin Bitcoin TA, let's go ahead and zoom out. We need to look at some key things here, right? Zooming out, I want to draw this again for you so we can look at areas of resistance for a Bitcoin move. And if we just take a simple trend line here on our BitGet chart, guys, go ahead and grab this trend line and just throw it down across the tops, okay? It doesn't have to be exact, just want to show you guys this. If you pump straight up to this from the candle you're on right now, you're looking at roughly 27, 28K. Of course, it will depend on the exchange you're looking at, but that's basically what you're looking at, right? So this is the first level where you're really looking at peak resistance. Now that 27, 28K number is very interesting. I want to show you this on the weekly because you have the 45 coming from the pandemic low down here. And where's that at? 27.5. Okay, so that really is a first level of key resistance here for a Bitcoin pump. And of course, the 233, which continues to reject you, is still on top of you here on the weekly time frame. Now, something to pay attention to here is you do have your Wyckoff structure. You're selling climax. You're on top of the range. And again, you're looking for that pivot out. In the daily time frame, you can see this better. We've gone over this the last couple of videos, guys. So watch that last video or the video before too, but I'll draw it really quickly. Here on the daily, we're looking at a volatility compression pattern, a VCP, which is still tracking as it should. And this is a cup. It's basically a play on O'Neill's cup and handle pattern, okay? You have your cup and you have your volatility waves, which keep tightening. Okay, now you're pulling back just like I said you would. You're pulling back and then you want to look for an explosion upward, and we're looking at targets. The 1618 at 29,062. If you can defeat that 27.5, super bullish situation coming up to that 32.5 area. Okay, those are the targets that I'm looking at. And again, all of this marries perfectly well with the declination in volume, testing your key resistance on your handle, okay? And then looking at this with your volatility, as we've been doing, the tightest compression that we have had since the beginning of the bull run. There is no guarantee this waves to the upside. To be perfectly clear, this is why we want to see it break out, come up, and I do fully expect this to be a wave up to resistance, to make some type of top, and then to come back down. This is how we're trading this, okay? I'm trading it this way. I don't expect it to defeat all of this resistance and go on to make new all-time highs. I'm making this a trade to earn money from. So let's look at this because you can see this exact same move Bitcoin did here in trend. So go ahead and right after this last compression, see this compression? Then you have the expansion up, okay? So let's look at this. Let's go ahead and get rid of this caterpillar. Bitcoin did this move right here. This is essentially what you're looking at. You have clear resistance right here, right? Clear resistance. You pump up to key resistance right along that trend line, right along your 200, 233, 150, everything. You make a double top, you fall back down. This is exactly what I think is going to happen here. If we do pump up and complete this pattern here, pump up either to the trend line or to that 1618 or get some spiky tops above, we're going to make some type of shape and come back down and most likely retest that 17.5. We'll get some downward projections if and when we actually do pump up and start to move down, okay? Looking at this on the 8-hour time frame, again, getting that pullback that we want to see in our volatility compression pattern. This is trading perfectly as it should. Looking at where it's landing, the 618, guys. So using a trend-based fib, wave projection down, swing high, swing low, swing high, landed at the 618. You want to try to hold this, okay? You want to hold this and come back up on the 8-hour time frame. Your 233 is right there. Lots of compression even on the 8-hour time frame. Let's go ahead and show that really quickly. And then we'll look at that volume resistance as well, okay? So you can see your compression here on the 8-hour time frame, and you can see the size of the expansion that you can possibly get. So again, this is trending to move up, and I think it's going to move up and move down, okay? Let's go ahead and turn that off as well. Get rid of that. And let's look at our, actually this will be easier to show you on the daily. Let's do it this way. Look at our VPVR here so I can pull in more candles. So let's get the volume. And this is what we're looking at here, guys, is this pocket deficit over here for this move, okay? If we get this deficit, this tells me Bitcoin can pump up right here as well. So you have this deficit on both areas. Now here, look at this deficit I just drew, right? So this is your long-term moving averages. Watch how this closes up, when you start pulling in more candles, okay? This is why you're not getting above this. You see the deficit? It all has to do with perspective. The more candles you pull in, the more you will see the volume react. This is heavy volume down here from your previous accumulation, heavy volume in this range. This is all resistance, guys, but this pocket still exists that you can move up and challenge your 1618, potentially challenge these as they descend and get below this peak volume here. But this is really your trading range. This is why this is not really even a consideration to me to go anywhere. This is a massive amount of resistance in a primary downtrend. So let's go ahead and look at Ethereum. Ethereum on the daily is doing what you want it to do. It pumped up. You're starting to get a pullback, get a retest. You want to see this come back down, okay? You want to see this come back down, form a base, get some type of cup. Your 200 and 150 are just above your 233 and your 150. So, you know, you got to watch this because you could be making shapes here, hitting resistance, and then this cup can easily turn into what? Another double top type thing, okay? This is what you can do. You can print a shape here. So you want to watch that, getting to the overbought range here on Ethereum. If you look at Ethereum on the 4 hour, we actually entered, one of our traders entered a scalp short here, and you got that nice move down. So you can, again, access that with the Discord, which is the join button underneath this video, or the Telegram link in the video description. Let's look at the Dow, guys. This hasn't changed. The indexes haven't changed because futures hasn't opened yet. Opens up at 6 p.m. Eastern, I believe, today on SimpleFX. So everything's pretty much the same. But again, I just want to cover that key concept. This quadrant, trading by quadrants, guys. 200, 1618 at 33,919. You can easily get above it and do this. The indexes do this over and over again. You could see this pump above it and start to make a shape and then come back down. You're looking at areas of confluence, areas of resistance, these beautiful chameleon vibrations present, okay? This is an excellent pattern. It's my pattern. Here on the S&P, same thing, guys. We've been talking about pumping up to that 4271. Got our pump up. 200's just above you. S&P, if this continues going into this week, I do expect our topping actions to start happening this week. You could pump up. You could come up. You could hit your one angle. But ultimately, I think you're going to top out and you're going to be retracing. Where will you retrace? I think all of these are going to be going back down towards their 50-day moving average. Let me go ahead and just throw this on here, make this a 50, make this a simple moving average. Why do I say that? Well, you do have the 100 below you as well. But this range right here from these face ripper pumps can easily see a retest on the 50. I also see GAN cross-section support as well. And it makes sense, guys. 43% to 50% of the indice buying is done by robots. It's done by algorithms. It's done by robot AI. This is what's buying these markets. They use these algorithmic programs for VWAP strategies, for simple moving averages. So you can easily see a rebound here. And this, to me, by the way, is when it does come down and retest this area. Okay, this quadrant. This is really what you're going to have in the marketplace. We have the Fed Jackson Hole meeting at the end of this month coming up. We have a lot of different things. We don't know if they're going to do a rate hike there. Probably not. Might wait till September. But lots of different things are happening in the marketplace. You're going to have volatility. But if you lose this, you're coming back down to retest your June lows, okay? If you lose the 50. If you hold the 50 and bounce up and down, then we're just going to have some volatility in the range until the market really makes up its mind, maybe comes to the realization that without energy, the energy sector, which is 4% of the S&P, because of their explosive revenues they had on these sky-high energy prices, they actually allowed the Q2 earnings for the S&P to be positive. Without the energy sector, only 4% of the S&P earnings were negative. Okay, so the market is going to come to this realization, guys, and it's a matter of time. Until then, trading these quadrants of peak resistance. Looking at the NASDAQ, same exact setup here, guys. Your 200 is above you. You could see NASDAQ tried to get up there. I don't know if it's going to be able to get up there, especially if the markets start topping out. And then you're almost getting to the overbought range as well. These are all low volume divergent rallies, guys. So they always make tops. And I show you this over and over again, but this happens all the time. You can get up to these levels of resistance. This is your 200. This is what stopped you out last time, made a double top. And you do it over and over in these indices. They love to make double tops at resistance. You can pump through them, but eventually you will capitulate capitulate to the resistance. And I do think this week we'll have our topping action and we'll have some profit taking as well. Looking here on the Russell, guys, looking at the Russell, same thing, pumping up above the 200. My 45 angle I accidentally removed, but it's right up here. So your 45, everything's right here. I expect this to start to peter out and do what the Russell does, which is basically going to track with the other indices as well. And of course, Bitcoin will mirror the Russell. So you want to see if these can hold up here in these quadrants, why they make their topping actions get volatility in the range, and hopefully get that Bitcoin pump, because once again, approaching overbought status on this. Let's go ahead and look at the DXY. Lots of requests for this, guys. DXY. It is not a coincidence that DXY, which is currently at 105.674, got all the way up to almost 110. The last time it got this high was the .com crash, where it got to 120. And I do anticipate us holding key support here and moving back up, because to me, this quadrant right here looks exactly like this quadrant. Everybody thought the DXY was going to come down, and it went back up after it held key support. I do anticipate this to continue as the Fed continues to raise rates. The dollar will still be stronger. If you look at countries like Argentina, like Turkey, the dollar is still ugly. Okay, it's ugly. It's fiat, but it is the prettiest girl at the dance. So you're going to continue to have inflows into this until the Fed really pivots. And if they haven't extinguished inflation, then you're going to see the dollar tank and the metals soar. And if you look at this, I still have my GAN fan. Guys, if you want to lay these GAN fans out, you can go on my channel and type in GAN fan. It has GAN's face on it. I show you how to do it. It's a free video. I also think it's like the top 3 or top 5 YouTube videos if you type in GAN fan now. That's pretty cool. If you look at this, why is it still here? Because it's been tracking beautifully. You can see the touches in the top and bottom channels as you come up and down. You see this? So it's tracking very beautifully. I like to use accurate indicators, accurate drawings to really show the price action, okay? We're here in Wyckoff getting down thrust. I anticipate us coming back up at some point to get on top of this trading range. And if this was to capitulate, I do think it would be in a potential double top fashion, but I don't necessarily see that happening yet while the Fed is still raising rates, okay? If it did though, that's what it would look like, something like that. A reversal back up towards the top of this trend line, maybe to that 107, and then coming back down again, a failed breakout basically from Wyckoff. Looking at WTI, guys, WTI oil, had that stayed trading in the hundreds, I don't think inflation would have been the number that it was, and I do expect inflation to have a higher number print, especially potentially this winter, getting into a few months of hard winter in Europe. We released strategic petroleum reserves, and a lot of that oil, some of it went to China, some of it went all over the place, and that's in the marketplace, but supplies are still low, even though the economy is shrinking. Like I said, mixed bag, guys. We are one misfired round away in Europe from having an extremely different world that we all live in, okay? There's a lot of different news. I can't get into it on this channel, but there's a lot of different news about what's happening over there, and just be well aware. This is the commodity that powers every single economy in the world, including Europe, obviously, okay? And that's where the conflict is. I anticipate this coming back up to at least the low hundreds, maybe back up to 101, 102. The 150s up here at 103. You're going to be stuck in this range for a little bit. We'll see if it can pick up. Looking at gold, I think gold can come up and test this 1830, but I do think gold, like some of these other commodities, silver, will come up to that 1830, potentially come back down for a double bottom, and that's going to be your next move. I don't think it's going up beyond 1830 while the Fed is still raising rates. Same with silver, the 1618 at 21.475. Battery's about to die. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely leave me your comments, questions. I'll answer them as always. Peace, everybody. Another video coming tomorrow.